Welcome to the 23rd episode of Saturday Sorted Stories, the live talk show with Dhruv Kabra. At 26, it's Kabra or Kabra, Dhruv?
Kabra.
Kabra, great. So I was right. So it's Dhruv Kabra, a 16-year-old and an 11th standard school going. I might call him kid, of course, and of course an author from the Pink City. He's from Jaipur. He writes poetry and majorly mythology, and has already written 3 books and is working on his 4th. So I'm Gaurav Tanwar, your host for the day. Rest will share all of his social media links into the caption afterwards. Welcome, Dhruv.
Thank you, Gaurav. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
So I'm not reciting your awards and accolades here because if I'll start reciting them, it will take the whole night. ये बहुत ही talented लड़का है. To everyone who's watching us. Yeah. So Dhruv, I'll start the questions before talking it. Like before taking it to your writings, I would like to know which book do you remember you read first, which made you feel reading was fun.
I think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. That is still my favorite book, one of my favorite books.
Okay. And why do you think it was your favorite?
Because I love chocolate. I think that can be the best reason. That book is all about chocolate and I love chocolate.
ये अलग गेम खेल रहा है, बोल रहा है chocolate अच्छी लगती है तो that's why I like the book.
Absolutely.
I hope you're not dating somebody जिसको chocolate अच्छी लगती है.
Possibly.
So he's a secretive guy as well. He's not sharing his personal stuff.
Yeah.
So how would you describe mythology?
Mythology is basically people's understanding of the world, different people's understanding of the world, how people look at the world basically. पहले के ज़माने में क्या होता था when you used to say ना कि this is a myth, और आजकल भी होता है. In fact, many people don't understand this thing. When you call something a myth, no, people assume it to be false. You know, that is the conventional meaning of the term myth, something that is false. But actually, you know, myth means perception. Myth means how a particular person or a particular group of people look at the world, understand the world, the daily happenings, the natural phenomena and everything.
Mm-hmm. And at this age, where did you get all the mythological knowledge from? Like, this is a personal question apart from everybody who's watching us. ये मैं भी जानना चाहता हूँ कि मतलब at this age, you're 16, you have been writing from last 3 years, as I believe, yeah. Right? So at the age of 13, you got published. So from where did you get this mythological knowledge?
So actually, you know, I was a very fond reader of, mythological comics. आती है ना, Amar Chitra Katha and Chanda Mama. I was a very fond reader of these comics since childhood. And I think I was in grade 7, then for grade 6, when for the first time I was exposed to some scholarly and some concrete work on mythology. You know, Chanda Mama and Amar Chitra Katha are very basic mythological stories, just the outline of the story, no details. Because if you give the details, no, the children are going to be intimidated by the story. And that is why I read some concrete and some scholarly work on mythology for the first time when I was in grade 6. I began with the books of Devdutt Patnaik. I read the books of Wendy Doniger, Vivek Debroy, and now I think I've covered a lot of acclaimed books, a lot of scholarly work. And I think the best part of reading mythology is that these days you have English translations of all the scriptures, because I don't know Sanskrit very well. I do know Hindi, but Sanskrit मुझे बहुत अच्छी नहीं able है. That's the best part, that I'm able to, I'm acquainted with mythology.
So he knows Hindi, Sanskrit इसको बहुत अच्छी नहीं लगती है. So I hope you did not have French in your school.
I did.
Which language did you take?
I took French for my 6th, 7th and 8th. उसके बाद I dropped it.
Everybody drops it afterwards. So why did you choose writing it and not any other leftover genres?
Why I chose writing mythology, basically.
Yeah.
So, I am a religious person. I'll not lie. I am a religious person, but my, I'm religious. That has nothing to do with my fascination for mythology. When I tell people that I write on mythology, the first question they'll ask me, "बहुत ज़्यादा धार्मिक हो क्या? बहुत ज़्यादा मंदिर वंदिर जाते हो क्या?" And I'm like, "हाँ, I visit the temple quite often, but I do not write on mythology because I'm religious. It has nothing to do with this aspect. I write on mythology because of my fascination for the subject, and I have this innate desire. Whatever I read, I want to transmit. I want to transmit my knowledge. It's not only with mythology. Like कुछ भी पढ़ता हूँ ना, I find something fascinating or intriguing on the internet or in some book I'm reading. So I want to transmit it to other people. Because there are people who are not going to read that particular book or that particular article. So we have to make things relatable for the audience, relatable for the contemporary audience, and I think that is what compels me to write.
Great. So you just told us that you're religious, right? Are you there? Or am I not there? Live or not, please people let us know. Hi Dhruv, are we back?
I think there was some issue, isn't it?
There is some internet issue, I believe. But
okay, is it from your end or is it at my end?
It is your end, I believe. Because according to me, my end is
my internet shows perfect. But anyway, let's continue. Abhi to sunai de raha hai, I can hear you properly.
Exactly. So I was asking you, like you just told us you're a religious person. What religious activities you do regularly?
Regularly, I do nothing. I'll honestly tell you. Uh, I am a
How come
religious
you're
person.
religious? I want to know that.
I am a religious person only on Saturdays, I believe, because Saturdays, I'm here with you today, but otherwise, abhi to lockdown hai and we are locked up in our houses. But
So this is
otherwise, I
also
go
something
to
religious. We are working on, or we are talking about, uh, the work which people worship. So this is again religious.
absolutely,
Don't underestimate
yeah,
my show.
absolutely.
Okay?
So I think if I would not have been here, no, and if we wouldn't have the lockdown and I would have been allowed to leave my premises, I would have been in some kirtan. So we have some Saturday ko weekly kirtans hote na, so I would have been there.
Oh, this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
At your age, I did not even know what kirtans were.
Yeah.
So, Dhruv, tell us something about your first book, Deities, Customs and Narratives.
So first I want to ask you, are you able to see me? Am I visible?
You are visible on and off. So, as you
On
said,
and
like voice is clear, so we can take up the conversation.
Abhi, am I visible?
At this moment, you're not.
Okay. Actually, I'm
Now
trying
you
to.
would be, I guess. No, again, you're not. Yes, you are visible now.
I am. Fine. So can you see the cover of my first book?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So this is my first book, Deities, Customs and Narratives, an open world guide through the Hindu myths. So basically, this book has three keywords you have to understand: deities, customs, and narratives. And it is a collection of my articles on these three topics: Hindu deities, Hindu customs, and Hindu narratives. So, over the years, whatever articles I've written, I have compiled them in this book, and I got this published with Notion Press in September 2019. And it was launched at the City Palace, Jaipur.
Wow. That's like, what do you know, they say swag nahi aata tha City Palace. So, how was the launch?
It was great. It was launched at the Jaipur History Festival. So the Jaipur History Festival is, organized by Mr. Sandeep Sethi of the Palace School, and it was launched there amidst the principals and education directors of more than 30 to 35 schools.
Great. So, how did your parents feel when you were published at the age of 13? And your friends, of course.
Proud, really. Yeah, really proud, really proud. In fact, my father is my treasurer right now. I would call him my treasurer because whenever I tell him, no, यहाँ एक event कराना है or we need to organize and launch here, so I get the money from him basically. Right now, I don't earn na. So
So, do
he's
you
my
have any
treasurer.
siblings?
Yeah, I do, I do.
Are they jealous or are they also proud?
No, I think they are proud. Jealous हो गए भी तो she won't tell me. My elder sister won't tell me. But I think what I know of her, she's proud.
Great, great. You're blessed. Some people are
Yeah.
like, अरे यार तेरी वजह से हमको डांट मिलती है. Happens, no?
Yeah.
So, yes. So the blurb of your first book
Hmm.
is because only in the presence of Saraswati, which is knowledge, will Lakshmi, wealth and Shakti, power, enter your life. So I want to know, is it just a marketing gimmick which you ended your blog with, or like if not, then do you believe in these words? And if yes, then how? How to describe it
You know,
yourself?
I genuinely believe this in these words. So we have the Hindu trinity of goddesses, no, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Shakti. So basically, I feel this is not a marketing tactic. Yeah, obviously, this is making my blog more beautiful. But then I genuinely believe in this statement. You know, in order to become successful, you need all these three women, all these three goddesses beside you. So if you have Saraswati, that is knowledge,
Whose internet is not good? Let me check.
hi Gaurav, are we there?
Yes, yes, you're back.
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
Uh, I
Yeah,
I think there is, yeah, now I'm able to hear you.
yes, yes, you're visible and
Yeah,
you're audible. As well.
yeah.
We did not hear your answer.
Okay, so I
I
spoke the
apologize.
answer. I think
I'll repeat it for you. I wanted to know, like, why did you use this sentence or these words into the blurb of your book?
yeah. So I gave the answer actually, but I think there was some internet glitch, so that is why you
Let's replay
weren't
it
able to hear it.
now.
Yeah. So I'll tell it again.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, it is a marketing tactic as well, but I also genuinely believe in this statement. It is obviously making my blurb more beautiful, but then I genuinely believe in this. You know, we have the Hindu trinity of goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Shakti. So when you have Saraswati or knowledge, I think Lakshmi, wealth will automatically follow. And when you have Saraswati, that is knowledge, and Lakshmi, that is wealth, I think Shakti, that is authority, will follow. So if you have these three goddesses beside, you know, I think you'll always be successful. But you have to understand, if you disrespect any one of them, you'll lose all three because they are interdependent and they share a very mutual kind of a relationship.
Wow, so this is extremely beautiful. All the viewers out there, a 16-year-old is telling you something that a 75-year-old should tell. So I believe you should respect him because he's interlinked with those goddesses, beautiful three goddesses who all of us need in our lives. So tell us about your second book, Indian Lore, Mythology for the Contemporary Readers. And why did you name it that way? I want to know.
So this book was recently launched. It was launched in January 2021, and as the title suggests, Indian lore. So lore is basically stories. So
Uh-huh.
all some wonderful stories from Indian mythology I have compiled in this book over the years. Whatever stories I have retold. Now these are not stories based on my imagination. These stories have been told in the scriptures, and I am retelling them basically. I am
Okay.
retelling them in a simpler way because and you know, at the same, I'm retelling also, and at the same time, I'm trying to make some connections as well. So, for example, I have this story about this chapter about the birth of the Kauravas. You know, the 100 Kauravas in the
Uh-huh.
Mahabharata. So, it is not merely a retelling of that story, how the Kauravas were born, but it is is also about how we can, make sense of the story in the contemporary era. So basically, the Kauravas were born when, the flesh that came out of Gandhari's body, it was divided into 100 balls. Because Gandhari, she tried to push her baby out. The baby wasn't coming out voluntarily. She tried to push the baby out, and what came out as a result was basically a cold ball of flesh. So Gandhari was really grief stricken. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to
Yes, that's
fertilize
right.
those balls
Again.
of flesh. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to fertilize those balls of flesh. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to fertilize those balls of flesh. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to fertilize those balls of flesh. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to fertilize those balls of flesh. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to
I
fertilize
hope
those balls of
his
flesh.
internet is not helping us. Are you back, Dhruv?
Hi, Gaurav, do you want me to change my internet connection? I don't know if there is an issue from
I
my
didn't get
end.
you. And yeah, the issue is from your end. I just checked it on Facebook. You were going again and again. So I hope you're back now. Are you there?
Okay, we'll wait and we'll talk now. Maybe अगर वापस होता है तो I'll just change my internet connection. Anyway, so where were we? I was audible till which part of the story?
Uh, till Gandharvi was, uh, they were cutting the flesh into 100 pieces. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So Ved Vyas, he divided that ball of flesh into 100 pieces, and those 100 pieces were dipped in jars full of ghee. So what did Ved Vyas do? He used some magical potions and magical herbs in order to fertilize those balls of flesh. So it is believed that over some time, over a few months, babies emerged out of those jars. So the first to emerge was Duryodhan, then Dushasan, and then the 100 Kauravas. So this is how the Kauravas were born according to the Mahabharata. Now, if we relate this to the contemporary, method of test tube babies, we have test tube babies or in vitro fertilization, no?
Mhm.
So I think it is relatable. जैसे Gandhari's baby is being fertilized out of her body in a test tube or a jar, you may call it, and we have it in test tubes today also. होता है ना in vitro fertilization.
Yes.
So I'm trying to make these connections between mythological stories and contemporary day activities. That is what I'm doing in this book.
Great. Like I'm extremely impressed with all the knowledge you have gained to write it. Like this is extremely beautiful, Dhruv.
Thank you.
So here the description of the book, which I read, says it is a collection of your articles and write-ups, as you rightly said a couple of minutes ago. I would like you to share with us about what it takes to compile a book with one's articles and already written notes. Like compiling a book with what you have written, but you never thought you might be ending up it into a book.
So you are absolutely right. I never thought that I used to publish these articles on my blog, but I never thought that I would one day end up compiling them in the
Right.
form of a book and publishing it. So at first, it emerged as an idea one morning, and I thought, why not do it? Because it is on my blog. Why not publish it? So I started
We're gone again. Oh my God. Getting this connectivity. I hope he joins back soon. Let me check. Where is he? Now the Saturdays, internet on Saturdays is this bad, and I'm extremely sad about it. He's back, I guess. Are you joining back, Dhruv?
Hi Gaurav, I'm here. What I'll do is I'll just change my internet connection because it says it's perfect here, but I don't know what's the error. I'll just change it.
No, even I'm watching it on Facebook as well, just to check
Okay.
if it was my internet, which is not
Yeah.
rightly connected, but it
Just
says it's you, I guess.
yeah. Just give me a minute. I'll just
No
change
worries.
my
Take
connection.
your time, take your time. Wow, Facebook has added one thread into their good stuff that they can change our voice into the subtitles. This is really beautiful. Wow, this is really beautiful. I'm liking it.
Hi, Gaurav.
Hi, you back?
Hi. Hi. So I'm audible and visible right now?
You are audible. You are visible. Yes.
Chalo, chalo.
So,
Great. Let's continue before something else happens.
this is right. Yeah. So you were telling us about how it takes to compile a book with your notes and already written articles.
Yeah. So, I had to select the best ones basically because all of them were not in a condition to be able to, make their way into a book. So I chose the best ones. I think I have over 36 or something. I have 33 articles in this book, articles and write-ups, and I have compiled them. I took a few weeks to edit them properly, and then I was able to compile it. I designed a cover, I created a blurb, an author bio. So yeah, that was the whole process.
Okay. So was it tiring or like you managed it?
I would call it a mixed state. It is tiring, but the process is cherishable. No matter how tiring it is, no matter how daunting it is, end
But
of
you
the
have
day,
to
when
do
you see a book in your hands, that has your name inscribed on it, I think that's the best feeling you can ever have.
so who helps you the most doing it? Because I believe everything you cannot do yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Who helps
So
you?
the person who helps me the most is my cousin, Shreya Bangar, who's also the designer of this cover, of this cover. She's the designer of all my covers, and she's also my first reader usually. So whenever I write something, I write a book, the first draft is sent to her, so she gets back about her with her review, what parts she liked, what she did not like, because see, I'm writing the book, no, so I cannot look at it through the reader's eyes, through the
Certainly.
reader's point of view. So she is a new spectator to my book, so when she reads it, she's able to point out the mistakes, she's able to point out the good parts, and that is how I'm able to go about it.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. You've got somebody. I've not got anybody. I have to do it myself. And my, murdering editors, the killers rather, I would say. Yeah. So coming to your next talent, which is poetry, you would like to know for whom did you write your first poem, and you're not going to lie about it, right?
So if I do not lie about it, let me tell you, I do not really remember when I wrote my first poem.
And this is a lie again. Okay, the lie is really good though.
No, 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 no. I'm telling you, I'm completely honest with you. I really do not remember when I wrote my first poem. I would have been probably in fourth or fifth standard, but at that point of time, I used to write poetry only for competitions and stuff. So, I mean, the first time when I wrote some poetry that I could publish was 3 years ago.
So you do not like poem for like you do not write poem for someone who likes chocolates and all, right?
No, 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 not at all.
Okay, great. And I also want to know like how did your interest in poetry became enough for you to write a whole book of poems?
So I'll tell you what, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, I read them the most because I write on mythology, and the Ramayana and the Mahabharata are indeed works of poetry. They are written in verse. So basically, if you read the word-to-word translation, or even if you read the Hindi translation, it's poetry basically. So I think that is where my fascination for poetry was born, and I think I do produce a lot of mythological poetry as well, though I haven't published it yet. I am planning to publish it later, but I do write some mythological poetry as well. Right now, the book that I have published recently, Seas on the Moon, it contains some optimistic poems, poems full of possibility, poems full of hope, and cherishing nature and all that.
Okay. So I want you to expand it a little. I want you to share something about your third book, which is an anthology, and of course you named it Seas on the Moon.
Yeah.
Tell us more about it. What kind of poems have you written? Is there some specific genre you've written about? Is it romance? Is it love? Is it fiction? Or is it some fear, some passion? What is it about?
So I'll tell you what. I'll begin by elaborating on the title, "Seas on the Moon." So it is SEAS, Seas on the Moon. So basically, this is a very quirky title. Why did I give this title to my anthology? Because I found it very unique, very peculiar, and very quirky. So imagine the sea, the moon. It hardly has any water. In fact, whatever water is there on the moon, it's not even enough to form a puddle, let alone a sea. So basically, if the moon, which hardly has any water, how can it form seas? But then it is believed that there are 10 seas on the moon. Now, these 10 seas on the moon, wala thing is completely a metaphorical idea. It's not a literal idea. It is a metaphorical assumption. So, पहले क्या होता था? Early astronomers, when they used to study the moon, they found solidified plains of lava on the moon. तो उनको समझ में नहीं आता था, in those ancient times कि वो क्या थे. So they thought they are seas on the moon. उनको लगता था कि sea है, so they counted 10 such seas and they named them. In fact, whatever patches or spots we see on the moon today, those are those seas. I wouldn't call them seas. They are not literally seas, but they are just plains of solidified lava. But early astronomers perceived them to be seas, so they call them Maria. Now, Maria in Latin, Maria is for seas. Seas को हम लोग Latin में Maria कहते हैं. So that is why they named 10 such seas, such as the Sea of Cleverness, Sea of Stars. Sorry?
Like the moon has 10 Marias. Then.
Yeah, 10 Marias. So it has 10 seas basically, such as examples are the Sea of Tranquility, the Sea of Showers, the Sea of Immortality, the Sea of, Cleverness. ऐसे seas के नाम हैं moon पे. Now, I always wondered कि when the moon, it hardly has any water, but still it has seas. Now, obviously, they are not literal seas, metaphorical seas, but है तो सही. So, if the moon, which hardly has any water, can have seas, I think anything is possible in this universe. Every damn particle in this universe says something, has a prospect. It represents possibility and hope. So if you see the cover of the book, I don't have the author copies right now. They are going to arrive tomorrow, but I can show it to you on my Kindle. So if you see this cover, you can see a glass here, a glass filled up to the brim with soda. Yeah. Now you have bubbles rising in this soda. So these bubbles are symbolic of hope, and the moon has been submerged in this glass of soda. So I think that is how we are making sense of the title "Seas on the Moon."
Great. So I'm again impressed with all the hard work you've put in to gain the knowledge, even about the title. This is really beautiful.
Thank you.
So as you're still in school, what plans have you made for future? So would you like to keep writing as one of your professions?
Yeah, writing. Maybe if I'll be well established and if I'll be very very famous, I think I'll be able to pursue writing full time. Otherwise, part time, I am sure I'll continue writing throughout my life. And talking about what I want to pursue in the future, I think I would want to pursue English literature. So maybe I can go into some professorship or maybe some publishing, writing. These are some of the things I want to do in my future.
Beautiful. I wish you good luck for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what are your plans to write next? Like, which genre are you planning to write? Or again, we are going to read an anthology.
Anthologies are not coming abhi to, as far as 24th April is concerned. But I'm coming up with a book on mythology again. Now, this book is going to be about the female characters of the Ramayana. So we have Sita, Mandodari, Shabri. These are the popular ones, but we have some lesser known characters as well. We have Shanta, we have Sulochana, we have Sarma. So I have compiled all the information that is found in the 300 versions of the Ramayana, because Ramayana has 300 versions, more than 300 versions across the world. So this book is basically going to be an account of all these women. how different versions of the Ramayana view these women. So, for example, talking about Shurpanakha. In the Valmiki Ramayana, Shurpanakha is described as a very ugly and a very,
Uh-huh.
what would I call, heinous character. But if you read the Kamban Ramayana, written in Tamil by Kamban, it describes Shurpanakha as a very, very beautiful
Really?
woman, and anyone who would look at her would fall in love with her. ऐसा कहा गया है कंबन रामायण में, that she is so beautiful. Now there's a striking difference in the description of Shurpanakha in the Valmiki Ramayana and in the Kamban Ramayana. So I think I'm discovering these variations and these similarities between various versions of the Ramayana in terms of these female characters in that book, and it is going to be published by one of India's major publications. In fact, it is expected to be launched later this year, and it's going to be launched by a very nice publication house.
Wow. Again, I wish you very good luck.
Thank you.
And I hope you do not want to compare your work with these two when you want to be the third one for the next author.
No, not at all.
No, that's really beautiful. So, Dhruv, I want you to motivate people who are actually studying in school right now and do not have uh, any kind of vision for them, and they do not know what they have to do. And of course, I want you to motivate me as well.
Okay. I don't know if I can motivate you, but I think people younger to me, people who aspire to write, I think उनको तो motivate कर ही सकता हूँ. So, whenever people ask me, कि how do you manage writing? How do you get time to write amidst your studies and everything? I have always believed that we have almost 14 to 15 hours in a day, right? The time we are awake. So we have 14 to 15 hours a day. I think even if I'm studying for 4 to 5 hours, or let's say 7 hours at the max, I'm studying, फिर भी मेरे पास बहुत time बच जाता है. I feel to write or to pursue my passion. So whenever people tell you ना कि why are you not pursuing your passion, the best answer they'll give us, they have no time. But then
Yeah,
we all know that it is just an excuse. If we want to manage time, if we want to settle time in our
you
schedule, I
can.
think we can without any issues. So at when I began writing, even I used to feel, yaar, ki I have my ninth, I have my exams coming up. How would I manage? But then I realized I studied enough. I even if I studied for 6 to 7 hours a day, उसके बाद भी मेरे पास बहुत time बचता था. So at least 1 or 2 hours a day I could devote to my passion. So what I want to say is that
Yeah, please.
that you have to find time. If you want to, if you have that innate desire to find time, time mil jayega. And for writers, aspiring writers, I think the best advice I can give you is read a lot, because this is how I have improved my writing over the years, is by reading a lot. I have this target of reading at least 4 books a month, and I usually exceed the target, so I'm able to finish 5 to 6 books a month. So I think the more you yeah, the more you read, I think the better you will be able to write, because and writing also has to be a daily practice. You see, ऐसा नहीं है कि we are writing today and then we take a break for a week. I think the flow breaks in such a condition and we are not able to continue what we are doing.
Yeah. So, thank you for motivating each one of us. I want to know how much GPA you got in your 10th standard, just in case you want to share. It's okay. You cannot. You can deny it
So
or not share.
I'm really embarrassed because my 10th board exams got cancelled.
अलग दुख में है ये.
हाँ. So no, I'm मैं दुख में तो नहीं हूँ. I'm really relaxed. I'll tell you, I'm not disheartened at all that the board exams have been cancelled. I find the 10th board exams really immaterial. 12th board के फिर भी important होता है. I find the 10th board examinations just for the sake of
Really,
putting
really.
some pressure on the kids. So I was relieved, and I am one of those few lucky kids who who did not have to give the exam this year.
Great. So, thank you, Dhruv. It was lovely having this conversation with you, and I hope all the viewers have also loved it, and people who would watch it afterwards, they might ask a couple of questions afterwards, and they can ask into comments, and we'll tag you, so you could answer them. And thank you so much for giving us your time. It was extremely beautiful, and it was lovely to have this conversation with you. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you, Gaurav. I mean, I really feel flattered right now, and I'm really, really thankful to you for this opportunity. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Let's meet again online when your next book will be launching.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Bye. Good night. Take care.
Bye.